समझे?
आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Hello, I am Narayan Singh and you are watching Sports 360. Here you will get an exact analysis of all major sporting events. In this edition, we will take a look at the Sourav Ganguly's coronation as the BCCI president and the challenges ahead for him. How India's pace attacks turned South Africa in the Freedom Series, UEFA Champions League Match Day 3 roundup, journey of Real Kashmir Football Club from anonymity to big boys of Indian football, and our regular segments, Goal of the Week, Player of the Week, and Image of the Week. But first, the top story of this week. Former India captain Sourav Ganguly took over as the BCCI 39 president. The 47-year-old officially entrusted with the task of heading the Indian cricket for the next 9 months at BCCI Journal Body meeting, ending 33-month reign of Supreme Court appointed Committee of Administrators.
Former Indian captain Sourav Ganguly has been formally elected unopposed as the new BCCI president. Ganguly formally took over as the new boss at the Apex Body's annual general meeting in Mumbai on Wednesday. Notably, Ganguly filed his nomination for the role of BCCI president after 11th hour drama earlier this month. He has been elected unopposed as the president of the richest body in world cricket. Ganguly is likely to serve only 9 months as BCCI president, as the cooling off period clause in the new BCCI constitution makes it mandatory for the board officials to step down after 6 years in office. Along with Sourav Ganguly, Jay Shah was chosen unanimously as the BCCI secretary. Arun Singh Dhumal was made the new BCCI treasurer, and Kerala Cricket Association president Jayesh George was elected as the joint secretary. Mahim Verma of Uttarakhand became the new vice president.
Coincidentally, fortunately or unfortunately, even when I became captain, it was a similar sort of a situation when I captained India for 6 years. And this is a similar sort of situation where, you know, things need to be brought back in place, reforms need to be done, you know, there's huge amounts of money to be paid to state associations, so it's a completely new start.
The latest elevation fits into Ganguly's template of constantly defying the odds. In 1996, when he was selected to play for India during the England tour, the elegant southpaw was deemed to have sneaked in through the informal East Zone quota system. His 100 on Test debut at Lord's, though, changed all that. When Indian cricket got mired in that match-fixing controversy in 2000, Ganguly took over the reins of captaincy and reclaimed the faith of the fans. But his was a rollercoaster tenure, and when the acrimonious split with coach Greg Chappell seemingly ended his career, Ganguly staged a rousing comeback during the South Africa tour in 2006-07. 11 years after he retired in 2008 with 18,575 international runs and 38 hundreds, the Ganguly story isn't finished yet. Sports Desk, DD News.
Now let's take a look at the challenges ahead lies for Sourav Ganguly in the Indian Cricket Board. First, the India's position in the ICC. India has lost its voice on ICC. Apart from this, in the latest working group of the ICC, there are no BCCI representatives. And also, we can see that as far as India was supposed to get US dollar 570 million from the ICC revenue sharing model. But right now, India has lost the vote for the Big Three model and had to settle for 293 million US dollars. Apart from this, for domestic cricket, a first-class cricketer receives rupees 1.4 lakh per match, 35,000 per day in the domestic cricket, and a good first-class cricketer earns around 25 lakh per season. But in national cricketer and who plays for the national team earns 15 lakh per test, 8 lakh per ODI and 4 lakh per T20 international. The huge difference between the wages. And now the conflict of interest issue. No individual should occupy more than one post at the single point of time according to this rule. This has restricted Ganguly's option to get best cricketing brains in cricket. And complaints against several former cricketers are there as far as conflict of interest issue is concerned. Tendulkar, for being the CAC member and the support staff of the Mumbai Indians, Indians, and Ganguly for being the CAP president and also a commentator and the Delhi mentor, and Dravid for being the NCA director and also an employee of the India Cement. So we can see that many challenges are there for Sourav Ganguly as far as his tenure is considered as the BCCI president. Now moving to the next story, another home series, another clean sweep, and there is an air of invincibility about this Indian team at home as Virat Kohli's men thrashed South Africa 3-0 to amass another 120 points in the World Test Championships. They extended their winning run to 11 series wins at home. Let's take a look at the key takeaways from the India-South Africa series.
While India were expected to dominate the opposition on home ground, few were expecting it to be this comprehensive, especially after South Africa showed some fight in the first innings of the first test in Visakhapatnam. But things went steadily downhill after that as India got into the heads of South African batsmen and bowlers. Here are our 5 takeaways from the series. Balanced attack. Across 3 tests, India lost 25 wickets and South Africa 60. To see South Africa being so comprehensively outbowled was a joy to behold. However, to see the Proteas pacers being outbowled by their Indian counterparts was perhaps that little bit more special, given that India were missing Jasprit Bumrah for the series. The Indian spinners were way better than the South Africans, and of that there was no doubt. In batting conditions that were way better than the 2015 tour, the South African batsmen had a chance if they were prepared to put in the hard yards. But Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja were always tight. If they were not getting wickets, they were not giving away runs either. Umesh Yadav showcased the depth of his bowling by claiming 11 wickets at an average of just 12.18. Shahbaz Nadeem did the same in his only test. The wickets were shared, and that meant the bowlers were never too tired, which showed in how Kohli enforced the follow-on too. There's depth, there's competition, and there's the will to make the most of every opportunity. This is a bowling unit that inspires fear in the opposition, and there truly is no greater praise. Rahane rises. As pleasing as it was to watch Rohit Sharma succeed as opener, watching Ajinkya Rahane shed those shadows of doubt was just as important. India vice-captain has been an integral part of the test unit for a while now, but he always looked like a batsman who was holding himself back. In this series, India saw him play with much greater fluency. That was perhaps a reflection of how poor this South African bowling attack was, but Rahane still needed to find himself in the middle and not look like the weight of the world was upon his shoulders. Jadeja, the all-rounder. When Ravichandran Ashwin was dropped in the West Indies, there was a huge hue and cry about it. Perhaps it was justified as well, given the off-spinner's record for India. But Ravindra Jadeja has gone about making a solid case for himself with every game he plays. The all-rounder has made himself very hard to drop. In the series against South Africa, he claimed 13 wickets at 30.39 and scored 212 runs at an average of 70.66. If one adds his impact as a fielder into that mix, one can see why he might be picked ahead of Ashwin in an overseas test again. The right pitch. This Indian team has risen above the pitch that augurs well for the ICC Test Championship, where winning away could be the difference. All teams win at home these days, but to have a team that is capable of performing in all conditions is a vital advantage. Sports Desk, TD News.
Now let's take a key stats from the India-South Africa series. Here we have the top run getters from the series. Rohit Sharma is at the top with 3 matches. He scored 529 runs at an average of 132.25. And next comes Mayank Agarwal in 3 matches, 340 runs. The average is 85. And Kohli in 3 matches, 317 runs, average is 74.94. And Dean Elgar, the only South African featuring in this list, 3 matches, 322 runs, average is 46.40. So we can see that the Indian batsmen are dominating this list. Only one South African batsman we can see here. Now the bowlers, the top wicket takers in this series are Ashwin in 3 matches, 15 wickets at an average of 25.26. Shami 3 matches, 13 wickets, average is great 14.76. Jadeja 3 matches, 13 wickets, average 30.69, and Umesh Yadav 2 matches 11 wickets, average is 12.18. So we can see that it's all about the Indian bowlers here as far as the top wicket takers list is concerned. Now the comparison between the pacers of India and South Africa. Indian pacers claim 26 wickets while South African 10, and India, the average of the Indian pacers is 17.50, while we can see that the great difference between the average of the two teams. The average of the South African players is over 70 as far as bowlers is concerned, and the strike rate is 35. Now let's take a look how the difference between the seamers under Dhoni and under Kohli. Under Kohli, we see that in 30 matches pacers took 166 wickets, while under Kohli in 24 matches the seamers took 137 wickets. Clear, we can see in change in perception that the Kohli has changed that perception around the home condition. Dhoni was more reliant on the spinners, but Kohli changed that perception, and he is more reliant on the we can see that on pace bowlers. So it's a good for the Indian cricket as far as the overseas, when the overseas conditions will come, our pacers can do better there as far as our pace bowlers are concerned, because the way they performed in this series. Now moving to our next story here in UEFA Champions League, Juventus forward Paulo Dybala scored twice in 3 minutes to give the Turin side 2-1 over Lokomotiv Moscow. Bayern Munich needed 2 goals from their star striker Roberto Lewandowski to win the match. Apart from this, we have also seen many great matches. Let's take a look in this report.
Back from an international break, UEFA Champions League action, as it does always, didn't take much time to become the talk of town. Although nothing is set in stone as far as guaranteed qualification, a few sides have put their names up in chalk and are a step away from progress to the knockout phase. Let's take a look at this Champions League roundup. Real Madrid collected their first Champions League victory of the season at Galatasaray to ease the pressure on manager Zinedine Zidane. The La Liga side suffered a shock defeat against Mallorca at the weekend and had failed to win their opening 2 group games. Toni Kroos gave Real Madrid the lead on his 100th Champions League appearance, firing into the top corner. Real's win moves them up to 2nd place in Group A, 5 points behind leaders Paris Saint-Germain, who eased past club Bruges. Raheem Sterling grabbed a quick-fire second-half hat-trick as 10-man Manchester City thrashed Atalanta 5-1 to put one foot in the Champions League knockout stages. The Serie A side took a shock lead after Ruslan Malinovsky sent Edison the wrong way from the penalty spot. 2 goals in 4 minutes from Sergio Aguero. First a tap-in and then a penalty sent City in ahead at the break. After that, Raheem Sterling turned on the style in the second half with 3 goals in 11 minutes to seal the 3 points. Sterling is City's leading scorer with 12 goals in 13 games in all competitions this season, and this latest ruthless display demonstrated again what a potent finisher he has become. Paulo Dybala scored 2 late goals as Juventus came from behind to beat Lokomotiv Moscow in the Champions League. Lokomotiv took the lead in the first half after Miranchuk fired past ex-Arsenal goalkeeper Wojciech Szczęsny on the half mark. Despite dominating possession against the 3-time Russian Premier League winners, it took until the 77th minute for Dybala to curl a left-footed effort past Lokomotiv goalkeeper Girham to draw the game level. 2 minutes later, Argentine forward tucked home Alexandro's saved shot to seal all 3 points for Maurizio Sarri's team. Juventus are now level with Atletico Madrid on 7 points at the top of Group D, following the Spanish side's 1-0 win over Bayern Leverkusen in Madrid. Every club wants a 20 goals a season striker, but not many get one. But Bayern Munich have. Robert Lewandowski scored twice as the Bundesliga giants beat Olympiakos. Robert Lewandowski scored twice as the Bundesliga giants beat Olympiakos 3-2 in the Champions League on Tuesday, taking the Poland international's tally for club and country in 2019-20 to an incredible 21 goals in just 17 games. Liverpool's 100% start at the Premier League season ended with a draw at Manchester United in EPL. But they returned to winning ways by showing their class in the Group E match of the UEFA Champions League. England international Oxlade-Chamberlain, who missed almost all of last season with a knee injury, drilled in a low shot in the second minute and brilliantly converted a second with a cool first-time finish from Roberto Firmino's pass. Sadio Mane dinked in the third from Mohamed Salah's through ball, and the Egyptian turned past a defender and rolled home the fourth late on. Lionel Messi became the first player to score in 15 consecutive Champions League seasons as Barcelona claimed a narrow win at Slavia Prague. Captain Messi gave Barca an early lead with a first-time finish after an exchange of passes with Arthur. The Czech champions were deservedly level when Jan Borrell poked home Lukas Masopust's pass from 16 yards. But Messi's free kick found Luis Suarez at the back post, and his cross-shot hit went in off Peter Olainka. Barcelona, who are top of La Liga, have now won 6 consecutive games in all competitions. The result keeps Ernesto Valverde's side top of Group F on 7 points from 3 games, 3 points above Inter Milan and Borussia Dortmund. Sports Desk, DD News.
Paulo Dybala scored a stunner against Lokomotiv in their Champions League match. This is our goal of the week. Raheem Sterling scored 3 goals in 11 minutes to seal 3 points for Manchester City in their Champions League match against Atlanta. Sterling is City's leading scorer with 12 goals in 13 games in all competitions this season, and he is our player of the week. Robert Lewandowski has been one of the best strikers in the world for nearly a decade and has scored more goals than anyone else in 2019. He has hit at least 40 goals in all competition in each of the last 4 seasons, and he was playing in an era without Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and he would have received many more plaudits and awards.
Every club wants a 20 goals a season striker, but not many get one who has that many before it's even October. Robert Lewandowski scored twice as the Bundesliga giants beat Olympiacos 3-2 in the Champions League, taking the Poland international's tally for club and country in 2019-20 season to an incredible 21 goals in just 17 games. The 31-year-old's scintillating form has prompted many on social media to ask the question, is he the best number 9 in the world right now? It is hard to argue with the statistics, certainly in 2019 anyway. This year, no other player has scored more goals for their club than Lewandowski. Not Cristiano Ronaldo, not Lionel Messi. This season, he has been phenomenal, particularly at club level. He has scored 18 goals in his 13 appearances in all competitions, at least 6 more than any other player in the Big 5 European leagues, and has scored in each of Bayern's last 12 games. In fact, he has only failed to score in 1 game for Bayern this season. The 2-0 defeat to Borussia Dortmund in the German Super Cup back on 3rd August. Lewandowski has also hit 2 hat-tricks this season, 1 for Bayern and 1 for Poland. Goals scored in the top 5 leagues in the 2019 season clearly leaves Robert Lewandowski scoring 18 goals in 13 games. Raheem Sterling comes close second with 12 goals from 13 matches. Lewandowski's 2 goals in the Champions League on Tuesday moved him above Ruud van Nistelrooy in the Champions League top scorer charts. But he still has some way to go to match Messi and Ronaldo's exploits in the competition. At 31, Lewandowski is probably unlikely to catch either Messi or Ronaldo, but his goal-scoring statistics, particularly in an age when some players are past their best, are hugely impressive. But Lewandowski's career could have taken a very different trajectory if not a volcano preventing him from joining Blackburn from Polish side Lech in April 2010. The eruption of an Icelandic volcano 9 years ago and the ash cloud that it created resulted in his flight to London Northwest being cancelled. Lewandowski has been nominated for the 2019 Balloon d'Or, but his goal-scoring achievements have often been overlooked. Last season, he was not even on the final 30-man shortlist, while the highest he has ever finished was 4th in 2015. According to the statistics, no one has outscored Lewandowski this year, and his achievements on the pitch perhaps deserve more credit than they are currently given. Sports 360, DD India.
Wayne Rooney turned 34 this week. He is a footballing legend in pure sense of the word after having impressed in spells for Manchester United, Everton, DC United thus far in his career. Let's take a look at Rooney's goal in his debut Champions League match in this amazing flashback. Former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger turned 70 this week. He was a manager of the Arsenal from 1996 to 2018. His contribution to English football through changes to scouting, players training and diet regimes revitalized Arsenal and aided globalization of the sports in 21st century. Let's take a look at the Wenger years at Arsenal. Real Kashmir's success story has helped to put the state on the country's footballing map. They became the first team from the valley to qualify for the I-League after topping the second division league in the 2017-18 season. They are now the big boys of the Indian football. Let's take a look. The emergence of Real Kashmir and their entry to the I-League is one of the fascinating stories of Indian football in the recent times. Real Kashmir FC has been breaking barriers ever since it was promoted to I-League after becoming the champions of I-League second division in the 2017-18 season. Real Kashmir FC finished third in their debut season in the I-League after competing for the title for almost the entirety of the season.
It's got 4 seasons, it's cold, the winters are harsh, the summers are nice, good people here. I've been here for 3 years now and it's like a second home now. My family, I've brought my son here as well, so it's a great place to be, a beautiful place. I think because of Real Kashmir's success, that's put Kashmir on the map as far as football goes. And you know, hopefully the young players have got something to aspire to. Before there was no professional team here, now they've got a professional team they can aspire to and dream of playing. Like everywhere else in India and other parts of the world, there's always some young kids here dreaming to play with their local professional team, and now Kashmir's got that.
Real Kashmir, with Scotland's David Robertson at the helm, produced some dodgy football that saw them catching the eyes of the country. Robertson realized that the Valley didn't lack in footballing talent. They just needed the opportunity to play and learn from better and experienced opposition. In 2017, he took the team to Scotland for pre-season training and eye-opening experience for the players. These efforts paid off in May when Real Kashmir grimly hung on to a 3-2 lead to beat New Delhi club Hindustan and win promotion to the I-League.
No, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed my time since I've been there. You know, it's tough at the minute with no internet and stuff like that, you know, to speak with family back home, but you go about the streets. I've been going down to the Sunday market and stuff like that, and you know, it's been nothing but positive from the local Kashmiris, so you know, no security concerns whatsoever. No.
Very happy here. We feel like a home here. बहुत अच्छा है यहाँ पे, कंडीशंस वगैरह सब अच्छी है, हमें फैसिलिटीज़ बहुत अच्छी मिली हैं और जो टीम है हमारी बहुत ही अच्छी है, काफ़ी अच्छी है. लास्ट ईयर से बेटर साइनिंग्स हुई हैं और काफ़ी अच्छा है इस बार सबसे.
The club's success has won it many fans, with over 25,000 people turning up to watch its home games. Records speak for Real Kashmir. 14 goals conceded, the least by any club in the league. 25 goals scored, fifth highest in the league, and that helped them to finish third in the points table in their debut season in I-League. Now in season 2 of I-League, Robertson and boys will have to step carefully in their quest to be another fairy tale story of Indian footballing arena. Vishal Barrister's report, DD News, Srinagar. FA Chairman Greg Clark called for the inclusion of concussion substitutes in the modern-day football. The Clásico between the Barcelona and Real Madrid has been rescheduled for the December 18. Former Olympic champion Lee Zurai has announced her retirement from the international badminton after winning 14 Super Series titles. This and more in this weekly Sports Wrap.
FA Chairman Greg Clark has called on FIFA and UEFA to introduce concussion substitutes as quickly as possible, following research showing long-term health issues from heading footballs. Abhishek Nair announced his retirement after a 13-year-long domestic career. Abhishek Nair is known for his contribution to Mumbai's successive Ranji Trophy triumphs and his role as mentor of Dinesh Karthik, Shreyas Iyer and Unmukt Chand. Spain's most prestigious fixture, which was due to take place at Camp Nou, was postponed last week because of the violent pro-independence protests in Catalonia. The rearranged Clásico between Barcelona and Real Madrid will be played on the 18th of December. AFC Cup final between North Korea's 4.25 SC and Lebanon's Al Ahad will be played in Shanghai instead of Pyongyang due to sanctions affecting the North. The AFC made the decision based on considerations of the televising and promotion of the game so that it is viewable throughout Asia and the Middle East. Former world and Olympic champion Lee Shi-rui retires from international badminton. Lee Shi-rui had won the 2012 All-Indian Championship before going on to claim the coveted gold medal at the 2012 London Olympics. Indonesia's Airi Susanti Rahayu set a new world record. She won the final International Federation of Sport Climbing Speed World Cup event of the year in Xiamen, China. Susanti Rahayu beat the previous record holder, Yiling Song of China, in the women's finals. Belgian Paralympian Marieke Verhoeven died by euthanasia on the 23rd of October, aged 40, after a battle with an incurable and degenerative spinal condition. She won Paralympic gold in the 100 meters wheelchair race in the London Games in 2012. Praveen Kumar made history as he became the first Indian man to win a gold medal at the Wushu World Championships held in Shanghai. Praveen's phenomenal feat came after he defeated Philippines' Russell Diaz in the 48 kg category. In the women's category, Sanathoy Devi Yunman has won silver.
That's all in this edition of Sports 360. Send your feedback about our program. What is your perception, views? What do you like about Sports 360 and how can we make it better? Drop us a mail on ddindiasports360@gmail.com. Before we wrap up, enjoy this image of the week in which Karnataka cricketers are enjoying their 4th Vijay Hazare Trophy. Namaskar.